Hi, I'm Rob Hammond. Welcome to part 5 on a video I'm doing on Donald Trump and other connected topics. We're talking about fascism and what it really means, and this is pretty heavy because looking at the wars in the Middle East, that's been going on for years now, for decades. Again, Tony Blair, the weapons of mass destruction, George Bush, no evidence, still they invaded. It's basically helped create Islamic extremism. It helped create terrorism basically, because it's going to be a natural reaction. I think it was Stefan Monolix that said, basically we've been stabbing the hornet's nest over there for years now. But what has happened is our governments have opened the borders up into Europe and let the people, the Western haters come through, and now the war's here as well. It's outside our doorstep. And this is one of the, I think this is the plan to destroy Western society by doing this. Because now, when I actually got into the whole New World Order, Illuminati thing, I was looking at David Icke stuff, and I was looking, because he mentions it a lot, and a lot of other researchers, about the whole European elite bloodline stuff, and the injustices they caused, how they're psychopathic, and then they still do, hence Tony Blair and all of that. And apparently how Bush is related to the British royal family, and they're all interbreeding. And I looked at my own religion. Well, not mine, because I'm not religious, but I looked at the dying remains of Christianity within my own culture, especially here in the UK, and it's pretty much lost its stronghold here. But I looked into the Roman Catholic religion. And the Vatican, and the whole paedophilia, and realised that there's heavy corruption in all of that, heavily corrupted it is. And basically, I was trying to, take my own culture apart, judge my own culture, judge its faults and screw ups, and all of that. And I found lots, and so I'd always be talking about. I talk about the Christian religion, the invasion of in countries, the Crusades, converting people to Christianity when it wasn't part of their culture and all that. I always found that they weren't kind of holy missions; they were military exercises, and then they would conquer, and then they would give them the religion and wipe their own. And so that was important to look at that. Although I've got a book, The Idiot's Guide for the Crusades, and I've looked at that, and it pretty much clarifies that. But others have said that it wasn't as bad as that. There were positive elements to Christianity. I'm going to have to look at that because I'm not so sure about that. I've got a problem with that. But nonetheless, I looked at the flaws of Christianity. But I never really looked at other cultures as being the same. Funnily enough, because I think even in the conspiratorium kind of movement, I think we've always been. Apart from the kind of Christians in America, and I think they mean well, but they're just a bit wet behind the ears. I don't think they see the big picture here. But. There's a big focus on white racism in the alternative movement history. Research, like the conspiracy side of things. About the enslavement of the Native American Indians and the invasions into Africa and things like that. And it should be spoke of, but we're not focusing on the slavery and racism and events that have been happening in those countries as well, without white people. We're led to believe that if you're white, you're more racist than anything, and I think that's a big fatal mistake. And I think most people have been brainwashed. They've been socially engineered to accept this. I was naive, really, in thinking that only we made the world cruel, and when in fact at this time right now we have more freedom and human rights than possibly any other culture. I'm talking about the West here. We hold human rights very high, maybe more so than ever in history. Religion has been separated from the state. You can say in this country or in Europe, probably nearly all of Europe, I'm talking about Germany, France, England, Scotland, Ireland, you can say something blasphemous against Jesus or his disciples and from the Bible, and you won't be condemned, you won't be subjected to imprisonment or physical violence. It's just free speech, freedom of speech. And that's something that we value. It's not so It's not the same in many other countries and cultures. Even in Thailand, you say something bad, insult their religion, you insult Buddhism, and you can pay a price. I think there was a guy there that spray painted a Buddhist face, and he wasn't even an actual statue. He was opening a shop, and he had he spray painted a Buddha picture, but he kind of made it into a cartoon and mocked it a little, and he was thrown in prison for that. You can get thrown in prison just for insulting the king, saying something that is controversial against him. So they have that there, and it's in many countries. Including certain parts of the Middle East with the Arab countries. Women's rights are practically non-existent there. You can't drive, you can't smoke on the street, you can't have a relationship, physical relationship before marriage. Women are brutalised over there in many areas, and this is something that's totally the opposite of a Western value system. So I thought that people were kind of nice out there, and he wasn't as bad as all that, and that basically there are extremists out there, and it is partly caused by the interference with America and England and the West, but it's kind of there are a few thrown around here and there, but nobody's really kind of West hate. They don't hate the West, you know what I mean? There's just a few extremists, but most people are fine. They actually won't mind immigrating here. They're kind of multiculturally. They probably kind of like us, actually. They like the education, they like earning the money, and putting it away and all that stuff, and we're kind of handy, and they kind of think, well, yeah, hey, why not? But from what I've gathered, there are cultures, by the looks of it, the Arab, in the Arab country, there are Muslim men that hate the West, and they would love to see it topple. And basically, if they are given the opportunity to come over here, it's just a chance to spread their dominance and spread their belief system in the form of Islam. And they are not into multiculturalism. They are not. They're into world domination. And this ties in basically with fascism, or in a way, because in their own right they are fascists too, because they want to dominate the whole world with Islam, and not tolerate anybody else. So they're, in a way, they're Hitleritarians in their own right. I think it was David Icke. He said that fascism and Nazism isn't about your race, about your colour. It's a state of mind. You see what I'm saying? It's a state of mind, and that's what we're dealing with. That's what Germany is suffering now, which is kind of moronic. So, the fact is that there are, it's a jungle out there, it's the law of the jungle, basically. There are people that want to take your freedom away if they can, and you have to fight for it. Unfortunately, it hasn't changed, I was a bit naive, I think. Again, we've been led to be too nice, I think. let's carry on here. So, what time is it now? Yeah, we got to stand up for our rights. For years we've been, well, most Westerners, we in a way, especially in the UK, we've been living in a sanitised world of state benefits, handouts, and we've gotten too soft and easy pickings for the globalists and for the extremists, basically. Then again, I'm not a racist. You heard my basic belief system package on freedom of expression includes everyone, and if you stand against that freedom, then you stand against that belief system, basically. And there's nothing wrong with what I've just said, as far as I'm concerned. I think many people, believe that. So fascism, connects to this as well. Just like Genghis Khan, he wanted everybody under his belief structure, under his rule. Same thing with these extremists, I think. So we're nearly through these videos now, just a few more bits and pieces, and I'll talk to you on part 6 about that.